All right, welcome to Power to Change Talk series. So today is actually very special because currently I'm in Indonesia and our speaker today is in Paraguay. So we have a lot of time zones right now. So for those of you who are new here, Talk series is actually an online event hosted by Power to Change. Once in every 2 weeks, we invite like-minded people to share their purpose and their journey on realizing it. So here's a quick look at our agenda today. Later, I'm going to introduce Power to Change, and then we're gonna have our speaker to present on their sharing, and then I will have a quick chat with him, and later on, I will pass it to you guys to ask him questions. So later on, while listening, please take some notes and also jot down your questions, and we will open the mic for you to ask him questions. So before talking about Power to Change, I'd like to talk more about our motivation. We believe in power of choice, and we believe that every individual, including you and I, have our own purpose on earth. And we actually have the power to change our community and eventually even the world and achieve net zero and climate change. So what is Power to Change? Power to Change is actually a project driven by student ambassadors who are college students in different universities in Taiwan, including you and I. So we are also from different countries as well. Our concept is actually to promote bills digitalizations to help banks to reduce paper waste and save money. We will then reinvest the money to help energy poverty households to change to LED lights and improve their life quality. So what have we done in the past to reach out to the community about Power to Change? We have done class presentations. During COVID times, we were not able to do many things, but we came up with the idea to do online speeches in our classes. And we also have done offline presentations as well. We also had a booth promotion all over Taiwan, and an interesting event which took place in May. Actually, we have this Taiwan National Cleanup, and we participated in 4 beaches in east, south, north of Taiwan. And obviously for our talk series, we like to thank you for your support for the past 6 months. Actually, we've had 3 rounds of talk series, and we're gonna have more coming up on the half of the year. So today is actually the very first student ambassador of Power to Change to deliver a talk series. And for the cherry on top, he's currently in Paraguay to bring Power to Change to his own country. For today's talk, he's going to share about his journey on being a vegetarian and his take on climate action. I, for one, am very interested in today's topic. So without further ado, let's welcome Alejandro Villanueva.
Thank you so much, Irene. Thank you for having me here and hosting
All
this
right.
this interview.
Okay, so I'm going to help you to um, share so you can just start.
Okay, so Irene, how about you ask me first? Why did I start being vegetarian?
Okay, so I, for one, am trying my best to be a vegetarian. So why did you try it?
Okay, so everything started, I can say 12 years ago. That was the first time I got my dog, and he was my life. He was everything to me. And then I had to leave. I had to leave him because I have to come to Taiwan. I have to go to Taiwan to for my studies. And then by the time I was in Taiwan, my dog passed away, and it was one of the saddest things in my whole life. I just couldn't resist anything. And 1 year passed, and I was still crying about him and many other things. So I was thinking, what can I do to stop this? what I'm doing wrong. And he was my inspiration to become as to start caring about the world, to start caring about the environment, to start caring about the animals. He was my inspiration. Everything I'm doing is just because of him. So because of that, I start changing myself. I start caring about animals, the environment, but I needed to do something more. I need to do something more than just don't using plastic bags or trying to do some things for the environment or for the animals. So I was asking myself, what can I do? And then I started searching online, and I found an organization that you can go and you can take care of elephants that was in Thailand. So Irene, can you go to the next page? And so I decided to go to Thailand to be a volunteer to take care of elephants for a couple of days, and in a way that I could feel better with myself. In a way I can feel that I'm doing something for my dog because I needed to feel better with myself. So I went there. And by the time I was there, I met other people. Most of them, they were vegetarians. There were people from Taiwan, Australia, Canada, US, also from Thailand, China. And most of them were people that used to that care for the environment. They were vegetarian, or just people that wanted to eat less meat. And the good part of this experience is during the whole time I was there, we were not only taking care of elephants, we were not only taking care of kids, as you can see on the pictures. We will also that we were provided with vegetarian food. And that was an opportunity for me to try to live just eating vegetables, not meat. Because I'm from Paraguay, which is a country that eats meat every single day, beef in every single food. So I've never had the opportunity to force myself not to eat meat. But in that week, I tried being vegetarian, and I realized that it wasn't that difficult. And then I started thinking about the elephants. I started thinking about my dog, and I was like, why don't I try? Let me try for 2 weeks. And then I just started being vegetarian, and now it's been almost 4 years. Is that? It's been, yes, 4 years since I was vegetarian. And it was actually easy. It was a lot easier than I thought. It was just about telling myself, okay, let's do it. And here I am today. Thanks to my dog, thanks to those elephants, and thanks to those kids that make me make me try to be a better person. That's why I'm vegetarian today. Okay, Irene, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so today I am here to tell you a little bit of what does it mean to be vegetarian. Is it that difficult? Is it that unhealthy? Is it that healthy? Is it actually help the world as everyone say? Because you might hear some comments of people say, no, don't be vegetarian, that's unhealthy. Or the only way to live healthy is vegetarian. Or people say, no, you should eat more meat. The vegetables are killing the world. Different people have different opinions. But let me tell you some facts. All of those facts are not my opinion. Those are scientific proof. Those were some experiments or some proof provided by the ON, the 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 ON, and they were telling us a little bit about what it is to be meat. What is it to be meat? So the first thing is, what will happen if you only eat meat? Let's put apart. Of course, we will die. If you only eat potato, you will die at some point. If you only eat, I don't know, tomatoes, you will die at some point. But what will happen if you only eat meat? Of course, you will die pretty soon. But not because it's not providing you the minerals and the proteins and the biomedicines that you need. It is because you are not eating enough of everything. And one of the most important part of meat is the vitamin C. There is no way you can find vitamin C in meat. So that's the reason why you will die fast if you only eat meat. As an example, pirates, because you can dry the meat and it wouldn't go rotten, it wouldn't go bad. pirates used to take a lot of raw meat into the ship because they will go for 3 months. And because they don't have the meat that has no source of vitamin C, they will go sick and they will die in the middle of the ocean. Thus, they will die, they will take lemons. And when someone gets sick, they will only eat lemons. You need a combination of all food to be completely healthy. But this is from the old end. What will happen if you only eat meat? People do eat that eat meat, especially processed meat. Processed meat as dry meat, raw ham, hot dog, sausages, any kind of seasoned meat. What will happen if you eat them? Well, you will have a higher percentage of danger of dying or getting diseases. For example, strokes. We know that can kill you. Most of the time, they kill you. If you eat a lot of meat, you have 11% higher possibility of dying by strokes. Also, diabetes is 19%. That's a huge number. And also, cholesterol cancer is a kind of cancer. You have 70% more possibility of dying by cholesterol cancer than a person that eats a balanced food. I'm not saying a person that eats only vegetables. I'm saying a person that eats more balanced. Okay, so what is the processed meat, you might be asking yourself? So I know there is a lot of vegan people or also vegetarian people that are saying, if you actually love meat, why don't you try raw by itself, the actual flavor? Well, that's a little bit too much to say, but it is true. Factories and the industry of meat are putting a lot of things into the meat so it tastes better, it lasts longer, and it doesn't go bad. And that could be by the dry meat, it could be any kind of processed salt or mineral, any kind of chemistry they put so they last longer. And that's the most dangerous part. The meat itself is okay if you have it in balance. But when the meat is processed, is all the chemistry that goes inside that might actually kill you. Okay, so if you eat a lot of, let's say you only eat 50 grams of processed meat per day, that's nothing. That's like half a lunch. Your risk of cancer risk, intestinal cancer risk goes a lot higher. So the worst here is not eating meat. Is eating processed meat. So guys, let's try to eat less hot dog. Let's try to eat less dry meat. Those are the worst. Or in Taiwan, people eat a lot of like the false meat, raw song. That's the worst of the worst. That's eating like you're trying to kill yourself. Okay, so we covered three things. Then people might say, but fish is healthy, but chicken is healthy, but red meat is okay. Well, there are different kind of meat, and they have different kind of protein, cholesterol, and everything. If you choose one to yourself, the healthiest one, I'm not talking about the environment, I'm talking about to yourself. The healthiest one is the fish. It's a white meat full of different things that you don't find in other kind of meat, like omega-3 is one of the things that your brain needs to process information and to work. So if we can put in a way of looking to your body, fish is one of the healthiest meat you can eat. The second one would be the chicken. It's another kind, or turkey. It's another kind of white meat. It is fat. It doesn't have a lot of fat. It doesn't have a lot of all those processes that the red meat normally has, and it's better for the environment. But the worst of the worst will be eating red meat. It is not only bad for yourself, due cholesterol and all the other chemistry it might have inside, it's also for the environment. I'll talk more about that later. Okay, so if you eat meat, you might find it will be the same as having contact with asbestos or plutonium or smoking. It is actually really bad to your body. Okay, Irene, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so the chance of premature death due eating meat it is actually 29%. So if you eat a lot of meat every day, you might have a premature death due to all the meat you eat. But this is looking to your health. I know there's a lot of people that doesn't care much about their health. They'll be okay by dying young. That's a possibility. You might get crushed by a bus today. But let's look into more a physiological way. So here we have a drawing. I wanted to show you what is the reality, but I don't want to scare you off and just get off the call. So let's just put some pictures. This is a cute way to represent what the animals actually suffer in the animal industry, the dog life industry, which is the worst of the worst. I recommend you to go online, look for pictures, look for videos. And there is a documentary that actually helped me to become vegetarian. It's called Earth Flying, like Earth, ING. That was one of the best documentaries I ever seen. It makes you cry, it makes you laugh, it makes you think, it makes you cry even more. But it's a little bit strong, so take your time. It took me 3 days to finish it because I needed to watch half hour, then cry, then stop for 1 day, watch 1 hour, cry more, and so on. Okay, so Irene, can you go to the next picture? Okay, so now let's go a little bit of the history of eating meat. So let's say 100 years ago. 100 years ago, eating meat was a privilege. People that have a lot of money or people that were from the royalty were able to eat meat every day. But nowadays, that's not a problem. Even though you are poor, you can still get access to meat because it's cheap, thanks to the livestock farming. They made the meat so cheap, so easy access that everyone is eating it every single day. That wasn't happening 100 years ago. It was a luxury. But because of that, we are consuming so much meat every day. So here I have the pictures. If you can see the picture of the chicken, the cow, the pig, and then also the sheep, you can see how many animals we have right now in the industry. They are living right now. We have 23 billion chickens, 1.5 billion cows. Guys, I'm talking billions. People are around 7 billions. We have 1 billion pigs and 1 billion sheep. That's a lot of animals. And it's not that we just have them we store them someplace. No, we need to feed them every day. We're giving them food, we're giving them water, we're giving them all the vitamins, medicine, antibiotics they need. And that consumes a lot of resources for us. So let's see a little bit of how much resources they actually consume for us. So to feed the cows, to feed the livestock, cows, chicken, pork, sheep, lamb, we are actually using 83% of the whole world crops. What is crops? Might be corn, might be bananas, might be grass, might be wheat. All the food that we actually eat, 83% of them goes to the livestock, to feed the cows, to feed the chicken, to feed the pig. We are using 83% of the whole world food just to feed the animals so they can go bigger and bigger and then we can eat them. And if you put that in a perspective, that doesn't sound too much. But when you put it like this, when you put the whole world land space, 23% of the whole world land space, it is used for plantations of the crops. It is used for grass, for corn, for wheat, and every kind of food, only to feed those animals. Imagine that. How much is that? 23% of the whole world land. It is used only to feed the animals that we will eat later.
I think Alejandro ran into some problems, so let's wait a few moments for him to reconnect.
Okay, let me continue from here. Okay, so I was saying that 26% of the whole world water, it is used to feed the animals. Okay, Irene, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so let me tell you a little bit. Used to produce 1 kilogram, 1 single kilogram of meat, we are actually using 25 kilogram of crop, 25 kilogram of crop, or 25 kilogram of food. And also we are using, this is crazy, 15,000 liters of water, only for 1 kilogram. Remember, a cow in average normally is between 500 kilograms to 800 kilograms. That's crazy. That's too much water we are using just to produce 1 kilogram. And then let's say we don't consume meat anymore. We use all the food, all the crop, and all the water to produce the meat. We use it to feed people. And that will allow us to have 3.5 billion more people than we actually have right now. We all know there is a whole world problem about food, about feeding them. We are too many people, and we are more people than the world can sustain. But if we just erase the meat consumption in the whole world, we can actually have more than what we have right now. We can have 3.4, 3.5 billion more people. That's almost half of what we have right now. Okay, so let's talk about green gas emissions right now. So here the green gas emission we produce is 23% of the total world gas emission. Maybe it doesn't sound too much, but if you see the last picture, the green carbon dioxide emissions produced by meat consumption and the meat industry is equal to what we produce with the whole world population of cars, planes, ships. I'm talking about fuel in general. That's crazy, right? Imagine if in one day we can change the whole engines from using fuel to go electric, from green electric energy. That'll be the same as the whole world just stopping eating meat. That's a lot. That's too much. Okay, sorry, let me read. We have a question. Is there any tip for a person having trouble to quit meat? Yes, I will tell you in the last when I finish. Sorry, let me go faster because I'm talking too much. Irene, can you go to the next slide? Okay. So if animal can talk, if they have news, if they could say what they're living, will be crazy genocide humankind. We are just killing, destroying, playing, eating, throwing away bodies every single second. Per day, we are killing 200 million bodies. Those are chickens, cow, pig, lamb, everything. Per year, that's 74 billion, sorry. Just to put it in a perspective, we have killed more animals that humans ever been in the whole world. We're crazy. We are making a genocide in the whole world. Okay, Irene, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so I tell you a little bit of the reality of what is eating meat, and I'm not telling you about the cruelty because the cruelty is just too much to talk and to show in a simple presentation. I would recommend you to go watch some documentaries about the meat industries and the flour industry and the leather industry. One of the one of the documentaries I recommend you is Earthline, Earth ing. That's really a really good one, pretty intense. Okay, so what is good to try to start eating less meat? Our recommendation I can give you is just start little by little. Some people can cut the meat consumption in one day. I cut in one day, but actually I was still eating fish. I was eating fish, but because I like shrimp, I like fish, whatever. So for my first year, I was not a vegetarian. I was actually a pescatarian. I was still eating only fish. After that, I realized that fish is a different topic. It's even worse. Uh, so I just stopped eating fish as well, and it was okay. It was not that difficult. So what I would recommend you is just to find your own way to reduce meat consumption. You can start eating, instead of eating meat every day, just eat meat 3 times a week for 1 month. Then the next month, 2 times a week. Then the next month, 1 time a week. Then just stop eating red meat, which is the worst. Just eat chicken and fish. And then little by little, with months or years, you can pace yourself. You can go to be vegetarian. And if you cannot go be vegetarian, that's okay too. It's not about the whole world going vegetarian or vegan. It's about the whole world changing a little bit the way they think. We don't need 100% of the population being vegetarian. That's a little bit too much. We just need 80% of the population reducing the quantity of meat they eat. If you're eating meat only twice a week, that is actually good. You are already helping the environment. You are already helping the animals, and you are helping yourself. So, reducing the quantity of meat you eat or just going vegetarian or vegan is not only good for the environment and to the animals, it is also good to yourself. And that will be my recommendation. Just go online, watch some documentaries, inform yourself, and just try to reduce. If you cannot cut it, try to reduce. And if you are cutting it, then you have to be sure that you are eating enough protein. It is not just eating rice with vegetables and taking out the meat. You need to eat something else to replace the meat. You need to eat the beans, you need to eat broccoli, you need to eat greens, you need to eat other things that are replacing the protein. And that's a big problem that we have, that the whole population is having now. You cannot go vegetarian because you are not eating the protein. That is true. You are not eating it because you are not replacing it. You need to replace it. You need to make a diet. You need to be careful. You need to take care of yourself. That's pretty important. And protein is easy to access. You can have the beans, you can have the greens, you can have lentils, you can have tofu, you can have soy. There are so many other sources that might not be as delicious as meat, but it's good to yourself and it's good to the animals. Yes, pretty much that. So guys, don't go crazy. Don't try to go vegetarian or vegan in one day. Sometimes it's difficult, so people can do it. But you can reduce a little bit of the meat you eat. Okay, so Irene, do you have any picture?
Okay.
Sorry, do you have any questions you would like to ask me?
Thank you, Alejandro. It was really informative, and I can really feel the connection you have with animals. So I do have some questions here. So um, it's I actually have been trying to be a vegetarian in Taiwan and it's been going okay. But when I came back to Indonesia, it was really hard. And you yourself mentioned that in Paraguay there are a lot of dishes in meat. So have you had the struggles or the crave for having meat and how did you cope with it?
Yeah. Travel, yes. That I wanted to eat, no. Once you just stop eating meat and you realize all the problem that's going behind, you just don't want it anymore. It's disgusting. It's just like you can't because it's the worst for the war. So I don't cram that. I don't want that meat anymore. But in Paraguay is a problem. Every time I go out, I might have just a few options. So my recommendation, if you're living in a country like love to eat meat like Paraguay or like Spain, US, or maybe Indonesia, you might need to be ready. Sometimes you will go to a restaurant, they might not have many options, or they might have only one option. So you need to check before you go, and you need to inform your friends that what is about meat consumption, because that happened to me. My friend was laughing at me because I was not eating meat. After I tell them what was eating meat, they were not laughing at me. Of course, they didn't become vegetarian, but at least they understood me. And then cook yourself. Learn how to cook is a good option too. It's healthier, it's cheaper, and you can prepare whatever you actually like.
Yeah, I actually started to learn how to cook because I wanted to reduce my meat consumption as well. So, talking about your friends and family, do you have any tips to promote vegetarian and plant-based diet to our community? Because sometimes it's hard for them to understand why we're doing this.
Yes. One of the most important recommendations that I found myself, it depends of, I don't want to say how educated your friends and family are, but it's also about the culture. Sometimes it's difficult to present them that it's healthier to eat vegetables, or that is really bad for the animals to eat meat. They will laugh at your face. So if they are not ready for that, the best option is just to cook something delicious or to buy something delicious that is vegetarian. Give them the opportunity to try. After they try, they will be like, wow, this is actually not bad. I can eat this once in a week or twice a week. Maybe they never have the opportunity to try something else than meat because that was in their culture, that was how they were educated. So that's the first step, I think. After that, you can inform a little bit more of how healthy it is, how bad it's for the world, how bad it's for the animals. I'm trying that with my brother right now. He's a kind of person that only eat meat, like burger. He will take out the tomatoes, and I'm trying to cook for him some delicious stuff. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, that's a really good tip because I also have a really meat lover kind of brother. Okay,
Yes.
so in some places there are actually some taboos about not eating meat. What are your take on that?
Yeah. Like in Paraguay, uh, people might say, especially old people, that will say, if you're not eating meat, you will die, or you will get sick, or I don't know, that you'll have some problems in the future. And that might be actually true. You cannot just stop eating meat. You need to eat everything you need. Let's say we cannot find omega-3 in the vegetables. We normally find them on the fish. But where does the fish find this omega-3 from? It's from the seaweed. So you need to go to the source. You need to go eat some seaweed. You need to go some vegetables from the sea. Because there is something called the 10% rule. Let's say the fish eat the seaweed. It only gets 10% of the calories and the proteins and the vitamins from the plant. The other 90% goes to poo. Then another fish is the fish. From the 10% that they eat, 10%, only 10%. So we are getting only 1% of the seaweed. And then we are eating that again. So the 100% just went to 1%. So we need to be selective to what we eat. We need to be intelligent.
Okay,
Yeah, so it is about that. Being careful what to eat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna open the floor to the audience because I think they have some questions already. So if you have any questions to ask Alejandro, you can just raise your hand and open your mic. You can just ask them directly, or you can um, type in the chat box as well. So Jessica said that you inspired her to be a vegetarian. That's very nice. And Matt here has a question. So he's been getting closer and closer to totally cutting out meat. He almost never has beef or pork anymore. So you've definitely inspired him to cut back even more. So he's curious of your opinions and perspectives on the fake meat alternatives that are becoming more and more popular.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, when I started being vegetarian, because I wanted to do the flip, the change like this, I didn't understood why some vegetarians or vegan people were trying to replace me. Why do we call it fake meat? Why don't we just eat vegetables? We are trying to stop eating meat. Why do we have to create something fake? But it's actually not about not eating meat. It is about not killing the animals, not destroying the world, and trying a healthy way for us to eat. So if we find something to replace the texture, the flavor, and the amazing thing it produces in your mouth, it is good. It actually helped a lot of people that are having problems with going vegetarian or reducing the meat consumption. It's helping them. They are thinking, oh, this tastes as good as meat. I can eat this instead of eating meat. That's actually a good way to help vegetarians and that we can have delicious food, almost as good or as good as meat. So now, after 4 years of being vegetarian, I understand why we need to copy that. And I think that's an access for everyone to stop eating meat. It tastes as good as meat, but it's not meat. The problem is that good fake meat, as Beyond Meat or Beyond Burger, is pretty expensive because we cannot mass produce, industrialized produce that we are doing with meat. But that will change after more and more people are buying it. We can produce more and more of Beyond Meat. It will go cheaper and cheaper. Right now, Beyond Meat is expensive than normal meat. It tastes as good as the meat, but it's a little bit expensive. But the more people, the more demand we have, the price will go the same. So I think fake meat is great. It's a good way to change meat to vegetarian. Yeah, and try more. Try more fake meat. It's pretty good normally. Thank you. Thank you for the question, Matt. Do we have any other question? Okay, while we're waiting for other questions, let me tell you a little bit of meat consumption and depression. And also, okay, here we have one question from Jessica. Let me read the question. What physical change do you feel when you start being vegetarian? Okay, this is good because I was going to talk about that. After I started being vegetarian, people told me that I would feel sick, or I would feel tired, or I would feel crampy because I was just making a change. But it actually was all the opposite. When I start stopping eating meat, I was running faster. I was getting my body in shape faster because I was eating less fat, and I feel more energized. And I never understood why I feel more energized because I was stop eating meat. Supposedly, we eat meat to get bigger, stronger, and to give us energy. So then I start making research about that, and I and I found about the theory of calories. Like sorry, one protein have 4 calories. One carb have 4 calories. We know carbs. We got them from bread normally. One of fat have 11 calories. That's more than double, almost triple. So the less fat you eat, the less calorie you're consuming. We need calories, but to get in shape or to get fit, we need to eat less calories, right? Somewhere you're reducing the fat you eat because meat is mainly fats and protein. We are changing fat for carbs. When I eat beans, I'm eating more carbs and more protein. When I'm eating meat, I'm eating more protein and more fat. So with beans, I'm getting less calories. That is something good. But also, when you are eating a lot of meat, you need to consume more carbs. Carbs is what we use to produce glucose, which is kind of a sugar and is what gave us energy. So instead of eating meat with bread, because you need some carbs, or meat with rice, because you need the carbs, you'll be eating vegetables. Vegetables, they have carbs in a healthier way. Okay, so to make it faster because it's pretty complicated. Bread is produced carbs, or body digests them pretty fast. So our carbs level go higher and higher. Also, our sugar level or glucose level, and when we have higher sugar, we feel more energized and we feel happier and we feel with a lot of dopamines and everything. But that, because we produce them pretty fast, that goes pretty fast. That's why after eating a lot of bread, you feel sad, you feel depressed, or whatever. 5 minutes, you feel pretty happy, but then you feel depressed. When you eat more vegetables, because it's a healthier presentation of carbs, your glucose, so your sugar, will be more stable. You wouldn't have those tops and drops. So that actually help you with depression. So I feel happier and I feel more energized. I'm this kind of person that I'm never tired, and perhaps it's a result of me being vegetarian. So physically talking, I feel skinnier. I think I was fit, and then I feel less depressed. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jessica. Do I have any other question? Okay. Jessica is asking, what do you do when the place where you go to eat with friends does not have a vegetarian option? Well, that doesn't happen frequently because they always have vegetarian option. Or at least I can ask for fries. But what I try to do if I don't want to eat fries or I want to eat something else, I just ask them, can you give me this and take out the meat? And they normally make it, they say, okay, and they give me for cheaper. Instead of paying, I don't know, in Taiwan, instead of paying 100 NTD, I pay 80, sometimes 60. Because the most expensive part of the meat of the food is the meat. So they give me more of what I need, which is the vegetables and the proteins and the rice sometimes, but it's cheaper. So that's not a big problem. Also in Paraguay, I try many times. When I buy something, I just tell them, can you just take out the meat? If I buy a sandwich, can you just do not put the ham? Or if I buy like a full set of meat, can you put everything but more of beans and do not put the meat? And they say, okay. So I think that's not a big problem when eating out. Of course, we have less options, but we still have some. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question, Jessica. Okay, here we have another question from AJ. Are your friends understanding of your choice and take it into consideration while picking restaurant? Yes, that's a total yes. My friends are always thinking when they are inviting me to go somewhere, Almost 50% of the time they will be asking me, is this place okay? Do you have options? And I find it cute that they are asking me, but sometimes to me it's like, you don't need to do that. I'm okay. Guys, I don't want to bother you. I will find options. And then if they don't have options, I'll ask them to make options. So yeah, my friends will be thinking of me, and I actually don't like that. I don't want to bother them with my vegetarianism. I would deal it with that myself because restaurants they always have options. More options in Taiwan than Paraguay, but even in Paraguay they will always have some options. Do we have any other question?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
It's, Christina here. So to become a vegetarian, have you tried to study what you need to eat, what you don't, what you need to eat? Like for example, if you would you like to, would you do more research in what kind of ingredients that you need to buy, or what kind of ingredient that you eat? Do you do research on that?
Yes, I made a lot of research actually because there is a lot of people that try to be vegetarian, but they only go maybe I don't know fatter or less energy or whatever. That was just because they were not eating right. You cannot just tell today I will stop eating vegetables or I will stop eating fruits. Of course, it will be bad for you to your body. So before stopping eating meat or reducing the meat, you need to read what does meat have inside and try to eat that, not the bad part. You don't need the cholesterol, you don't need the bad fat, you don't need the trans fat, you don't need the plutonium, you don't need the uranium. And what's the other one? Uh, Sorry, I forgot the other one, the other bad thing that meat has. You don't need that, but you need the protein. You need the other good parts of it, of course. So yeah, you need to do a lot of research. You need to know how much protein you need per day. Normally is for every kilogram of your body, if you just want to be okay, you need 0.8. Let's say you are 80 kilograms. You need to eat 60 grams of protein per day. You can find, for example, two eggs have 12 grams of protein, or a cup of soy milk that will have already 11 grams of protein. So just to say, if you eat 5 cups of soy milk per day, you already got everything you need for one day. If you eat a little bit of beans, let's say 100 grams of beans, soybean have 25 grams of protein, 26 sometimes. That's already a third of what you need for the whole day. So it's not too difficult. It's just about making making your counts. You don't need to put it in a paper and write that unless you're going to the gym. Myself, because I go to the gym, I try to eat double my weight on proteins. I try to eat 150 grams of protein per day. That's a lot. That's like six uh, chicken breasts. That's too much protein. But to me, it was easier when I was vegetarian because I have more options. I mean, when you eat meat and you try to go healthier, you only eat chicken every day, sometimes fish. But when I'm vegetarian and I know all the food that have protein, I can eat maybe egg. If you're not vegan, I can eat beans. I can eat lentils. I can eat broccoli. I can eat tofu, dry tofu, and other things. Then I'm like, okay, it's easier. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I'm okay. But there are some things like omega-3 that we don't need them every day, but we need them once in a while. We need to be careful with that too. So yeah, you need to do some research. It's not just say I'll be vegetarian today. You need to read a little bit more.
Okay,
That
thank
that
you.
has
Yeah,
thanks.
that is actually helpful. One last question though, like, do you mind sharing what do you eat on a daily basis from breakfast to dinner?
Okay. Yeah. In Taiwan, let me put myself in Taiwan. In the morning, I eat milk. Sometimes soy milk, sometimes low fat milk, sometimes whole milk. Milk with some oats. Oats are healthier. And then I have a little bit of cereal, corn cereal, and then I put chia seed. I don't know if you know what is chia seed. It's a really and some seeds. It has a lot of omega-3, what I need because I don't eat fish. And yeah, pretty much that. Some peanut butter. I like peanut butter, and peanut butter have a lot of protein and fat, healthy fat. So I eat. That's my breakfast. And then for lunch, I just eat bento box, pientan. I just go in the pientan store, like the normal one, and I ask them, instead of having 3 kinds of vegetable, I ask 6 kinds of vegetables and no meat. And it's cheaper. Instead of paying 80, I pay 60. So it's cheaper too. And I have some more vegetables to choose. And then around 5 to 6 p.m., I have dinner, sometimes another lunch box or a healthier option, or I go to eat rice or Japanese food or some fried food. For dinner, I don't care too much. And then for dinner, I eat an omelette or a sandwich or milk with cereal again. I just try to make it simple. And during the weekend, I just go crazy. I just go for Indian food or Malaysian food or whatever. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you. And I think AJ have a question here. Let me read. What has been your favorite part of the vegetarian journey? Feel so inspired. Oh, thank you. What I feel, a part of my body and physical ish, I feel a cleaner person. I was reading about Buddhism. One of the beliefs they have, if you don't have dead bodies in your body, you don't have other corrupted souls. You are not corrupting your soul. So you are a cleaner person. And when I was reading this, I actually read that if you are a cleaner person, you will feel happier with yourself. You will almost never get sick, and you will dream more about things, and you will remember them. And all those things actually happen to me. I dream almost every night, and I can remember dreams, and I don't get sick easily. Of course, I have my allergies, but I almost never get sick compared to when I was eating meat. And it's easier to me to just get fit, to go running, to not get tired. So I think the benefits of being vegetarian is not only that you feel better with yourself, but your body actually feels better. I think that's a good part of being vegetarian. Thank you for the question, AJ. Do I have any other question?
So Alejandro, maybe we can open up to one last question, but I actually do have one question for you.
Okay.
Since it's our very first student ambassador talk, can you share more about why and what have you done in Power to Change?
Okay. Okay. Why Power to Change? Because my friend AJ, that he's here on the call, he invited me, and I read about this. I didn't understand much, but then after I read more, I was like, wow, this is great. It sounds pretty amazing. It's a great project and pretty straightforward. We're helping the social part, the environmental part, and we are creating some economics too. That's what I joined. So far, I've been working on the south. We did some job. We tried to help the world in a scale. And apart from helping the world and the environment, I found a lot of great people here. Because as a person that tried to kill for the world, vegetarian, try to do some things for the world, the environment, and the animals, you might find a lot of people that will ask you, why are you doing that? Don't be stupid, like blah 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 blah. But Power to Change actually gave me the opportunity to find people like me that they are actually doing actions to change everything we're doing wrong. That we are actually working hard to save the world and protect the environment. So that makes me really happy to forward to change. Apart from what I've been doing in my team, in the South team, right now I'm in Paraguay working on the same project. We're trying to apply this project in Paraguay, and it's been such an adventure. It's a different culture. It might be not as easy as it was in Taiwan because people here are a little bit lazier, or they don't have the idea of what is an environmental movement. So I'm working hard and try to make them respond and actually realize that this is a great opportunity to help the environment, help the poor people, and also make some economics. Yeah.
Great. So on that note, do you have any call to action you want to tell our audience today?
Yes. Okay. There's that all. I'll encourage them to try to eat a little bit less meat. Just maybe twice a week. You can just go for other options. Now you know you can go to the vegetarian. You can go to Pientan store and say, "We out chiaro today, no meat," and it'll be cheaper for you, healthier for you, better for you. Just try that once in a while. And if you want to go vegetarian, just read about it. It's actually easier. It's better for you. It's better for the world. Go for that. But also, I'll like everyone to take a look on a website, to take a look on social medias. You will read a lot. You can learn a lot more about the project and how you can help the world in an easy way. You can do a little bit, just a little bit. Put your small grain of sand. You'll be helping. So I'll encourage everyone to join us as however they want. If they want to be part of us, if they want to be a youth ambassador, student ambassador, or they just want to complete or form, just do whatever you can, and you will be helping the world already. So yeah, join us in Power to Change. Make a write us, text us, or whatever. Go to our social media website or the website and write us. We will contact you how you can be part of us. And if you cannot be part of us, if you cannot work with us, you can also do this. You can support the cause by scanning this QR code. This will send you to a link on a website where you will have a form. And this form is actually used a way that we are trying to tell banks and the government and people that changing the paper statement, bank statement, to online payments and everything is helping the environment because it's saving paper. It's also saving CO2 emissions by not using cars to save those papers. And part of that money will go to help families. We will change their light bulbs to LED lights so they can save money by reducing the energy consumption. So everyone, if you can complete the form right now, here you have the English one, you have the Chinese one. That'll be great. You'll be helping us, you'll be helping yourself, the environment, you will also be helping energy for the families.
We have also left the link to the petition here on the chat box. If you can go to the chat box and fill out the petition form right now. So we also have mentioned that we are currently expanding to Paraguay and also to Japan and Thailand. So if you're interested in what we are doing as student ambassadors from wherever you're tuning in from, if you're interested in what we're doing, you can scan the QR code and we can have a talk. You can join us on this movement. So next week we have this talks 2 weeks later, we have this talk series, and this time it's actually quite special. It's a kind of like a webinar, and we have 3 guests, and one of them is Mace from Soul Expressions founder, and we have Corey from DOMI Earth, and Matt, our very own student ambassador and the master behind this talk series. So you can tune in and you can find this information all in our webpage. We also have an ongoing event. If like Alejandro, you would like to share your story, you can hit up our Instagram and you can share your story. We can transform your thoughts into power. And July is a very special month because it is a plastic-free July. We have a lot of information on how to reduce plastic waste on our Instagram and our Facebook page. So please hit us up on partochange_TW. So that is it for today, and thank you for tuning in. See you at the next talk series. I'm going to hand over to Christina to take a group photo.
Yes, thank you, Irene. So if you don't mind, you can stop sharing, and other people can, do you mind to turn on your camera? Then we'll have a quick group photo. All right. So I'm gonna count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, all right then, that's all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Back to you, Irene.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. So we also have our links on the chat box. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more information on our ongoing events. And thank you, Alejandro, for your talk today. It was really inspiring.
Thanks to you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.